We're live. John's back.
It's good to be back.
How's everybody's week been?
Good, believe it or not, busy. I'm, I'm in the midst of a lot of programming. I'm starting. Most people are starting a new cycle, so I have like 15 different programs to make, and try to individualize everybody. So you just kind of knock a couple out every night. Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, I tell you what, I have been exhausted at like 8:30. Like going to sleep at 8:30 and then like having to like zombie till like 10 and then go to actual sleep. But yeah, Leslie was home Tuesday and I went to sleep at 8 o'clock. And I did not wake up until 5:30. When I woke up at my alarm. Like I didn't like wake up by myself either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how
I go
long
to
does
bed
it take
early
you?
every night. Not that
Thursday.
early, but
How long does it take you to write like one person's cycle, John?
It just depends. If it's like right now, like I have all my one-on-ones at the gym starting a new cycle. So like it's not just putting numbers in a sheet. Like we're doing different skill work, different accessories, different like we have goals for everything. So like I like a lifting cycle doesn't take long at all, like 30 minutes. Because it's just lather, rinse, repeat. You kind of know what you're doing. You know what people want. Like you have all your percentages. It's kind of just plug it in and go. But unless they have like very specific things that we have to fix, and then it's like warm up protocols and stuff like that. But like with skills and stuff, you just have to know where everybody's at. Like I have a Toda Bar EMOM for one of them that's 5 on the first minute, 7 on the second minute, and then you just rotate the two because of once they do a big set, they start deteriorating way faster than they would if they just did 5. So we're trying to work on like a big set, something they're doing. So a big set, something you're doing. And then somebody else has like something completely different. Like they're working on, I don't know, running. Like it's just everybody's got their own kind of individual goals, 2 to 3 goals that they want to work on. And then so you have the general workouts, which everybody does, but everybody has their own strength stuff that doesn't take long to program. But then the skill stuff, that's everybody's, their own person. That stuff takes a minute because you have to go through 10 weeks of progressions and then have like backup plans on if said progressions don't work. Does that make sense? And then like, okay, we'll just adjust on this. And then, but you have to like say, if you can't do this, then do this. And you do 10 weeks of that. And then it just takes a minute. And then you have people like Taylor. Like Taylor is pregnant. So we kind of just play that by ear. And like, if this feels okay, we'll keep doing it. If it don't feel okay, we're not doing it anymore. So like, I just throw her like 3 workouts a week, and then she kind of tells me how it feels. And like, what we like, it's literally, she's had her house actually burnt down, and so she's been dealing with a lot of stuff. So she's been like on
gosh,
yeah. So she's been on hold for a minute, but so right now it's just I'm just kind of throwing 3 workouts her way, and when she can get to them, she gets to them, and then I throw her 3 more workouts. But everybody's got little differences. So I would say all together probably like an hour and a half for like a 10-week all encompassing deal. And yeah, usually after 2, like I'm kind of done, like for the day. I don't want to do anymore. If I do 3, then the third person gets a short end of the stick because I'm literally just be like, "You be all right." We'll just like less thought goes into it. Be like, hopefully you just hit this and it keeps going. Like there's not like a run of 400 at 155 pace and then try to negative split that to 153, 151, and then at 151 run like a 210 recovery 400 meter pace. Like, you know what I mean? There's none of that. It's just like 8 400s at a 2 minute pace. Like it's way less in depth.
Understandable.
But I'm happy to be done traveling. Traveling was definitely in the moment it's not bad, but you just feel like you're never home. Like when you're home, you're about to leave. And then so like you just never like kind of get grounded. Like literally at home, nothing gets done that's on your part because you're about to leave in 2 days and you literally just want to relax for those 2 days because you're about to like just be kind of wired up all day.
Yeah.
When's your next grid match?
It's July 13th, 14th.
Oh, so
it's back to back, and it's in Dallas, so I can drive, nice. which is beautiful. So like literally drive on Friday, leave on Sunday. It's not, don't have to pack anything. It's not like a big ordeal or anything like that.
Is that your last one, or is there?
Yeah, that'll be the last one, and then the CrossFit Games is 2 weeks after that. Then I'll be in New York. And then
the games are in New York.
Yeah, it's in Albany.
Who decided that?
It's the reaction that you have, all of us had when we heard it. It's like that's not, you're out of the loop on that, Daniel. We're all right there with you. We're all right there with you. It's funny. So here's the thing. Last year, somebody died in Texas, and they were like, "We're not staying here." And then Albany, New York was just what happened, and I kind of bet they move after that. I think like tickets are really hard to sell. Apparently, nobody wants to go to Albany.
Duh.
And like Dad bought tickets like the day they came out because usually they just sell out really quickly. Not like a Taylor Swift concert, but maybe like I don't know who's a good singer that's not Taylor Swift.
Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, no, not that famous. Less than that. Like a Jason Aldean.
Okay.
Like that guy probably still sells out, but he's not like the hot thing right now, right? So like it'd be like that. Usually they sell out like that. And so he like bought his tickets the first day that they came out. And it's like the first year in a while where like they're not selling out. And now they're like half off. And like one day tickets are like really, really cheap. And he's like, I've been robbed. I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you.
This first weekend in August.
Yeah. So and then I'm done.
Your summers are busy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And I knew yeah. This is the first year it's been like that. But I kind of think it's going to be like that from now on.
Yeah.
It like went from I go somewhere 2 times a year to I go somewhere 8 times in the summer. Like it like just jumped to that. And it's probably gonna, if we grow like we want to, it's probably gonna stay like that for the time being.
Shoot, you might be.
Are y'all doing
12 times
Crucible again?
I imagine so. I mean, because we always do Crucible, but like we've done, like Crucible was the first thing we did, and so we've done it the last 2 years. I imagine we would. It's always great. I might drive the Crucible. I know it's far, but I might just make like just a me, myself, and I road trip.
I want to do that. I want to drive from here to either Texas or California and like stop at each of the like main, like not tropical, but main beach locations. Like,
oh, I thought you meant like Maine, the state. Like you want to just drive coast to coast.
No, like
I was like, why don't you just run? Forrest Gump it. Just do it. I could see you doing that. Can you
Dude,
see him doing that,
I'm
Daniel?
not, look,
And then
I'm
be
not a
like,
runner.
I'm running for the Lord, and then just go from Maine to San Diego. Well, I could 100% see you doing that, Brock.
You run one marathon, and now you're you're the guy who you could see running across the country.
He goes. I'm not a runner. Get out of here. I'm not a lifter then.
Oh, good God!
Yeah. Daniel's not a football player. That's what we're just
That's
lying to ourselves right now.
That's crazy.
It's tough when who you are is just who you don't want to be. So.
Dude, I did not enjoy running.
Oh man,
it is funny. I remember when I was like trying to get strong, like 2 months ago. I was like, "Gosh, I hate lifting. I don't want to do this." And then it's like, then you just do it still.
in any specialty too much, dude, just gets like. I was so much less athletic trying to play basketball 3 years into college than I was the 3 years before, just because I had practiced it or moved like that in 3 years.
Yeah.
You don't realize how choppy
you just kind of lose it. You just kind of lose it.
Yeah.
I more hate like what it did to my body.
Yeah.
What are you weighing right now?
So, dude, we're on cycle body. And I'm loving it. I'm 204.8, and I was 211 at Syndicate.
Oh wow!
So like we are just headed in the right direction, dude. I could not be more thrilled. I even had my shirt off at the gym today, and I'm a big time like don't take your shirt off like after 207. Like nobody needs to see that.
207 for you personally, or 207 in general?
I just depends who you are, man. I'm sure Saquon Barkley looks really good at 207. But my 207, I don't like to be the strongest that I can be. I do not like what I look like at that weight. I'll be interested like once I get like under 200 if I'm still as strong, or like if I like how much I lose. You know what I mean? It'd be cool if I could still do like 395, like just really, really close, but not quite. You know, that'd be cool. But we'll see. I really want to snatch 330. That's my like what we're gonna try to do. Because you can do that with that and be light. You don't need to be strong for that. You know what I mean?
No.
I do not know what you mean.
Like I don't need to weigh a lot to do that. Like
you don't
like
need to
for the clean no. Listen to what I'm saying. For cleaning, it buckles your body like my core can't take it. So like I had to like get bigger to take this weight to stand up. A snatch, it's only 330. It's not buckling you. Now, like getting under it, yeah, it's really difficult. But once you're under it, it's not going to buckle you. It's just getting under it. You know, you see what I'm saying? I don't need to weigh more. I don't need to be bigger to do that.
No, we understood. We just didn't agree.
Hey, oh, you think I need to be big to do that?
No, you just said you don't need to be strong to do it.
Well, I associate strong with like 210 me. Okay, like I will not be as strong when I'm under 200 pounds. I know, I understand that, but like I don't need to be as strong to do that.
The last 10% is the worst.
Yeah, but I've never really tried to snatch a lot. Like actually focus on that. Where like you do a ton of like 3 days a week is dedicated to snatching. I've always just been able to snatch a good amount. Like I work on snatch, but not like dedicated to it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like snatch balances or Romanian deadlifts with snatches. What I'm trying to develop more power. So I'm wearing straps. Also, I'm allowing myself to wear straps because I can't hold on to it. I can't hold on to 330 with my hands. Like my fingers slip out. My hook grip doesn't stay. So I am wearing straps to do it. I will caveat that. But and then I'm just kind of doing Romanian like stiff leg deadlifts with like 335. And then I want to build that to like 405. I'm hoping it just develops this crazy posterior chain in that specific position. But like stuff like that, I've never done that before. So like I'm hoping it just kind of like boom.
How many reps are you doing this 330 at with your deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts?
Just like 3 sets of 7.
Gee whiz.
But it's you could do it. It just doesn't feel good. But like if it's like a burning sensation, it's not like this is too much weight sensation.
You're not worried about your like low back or anything?
Nah, no. I've never. If I have to do 50 snatches in a row with a 50-pound dumbbell, my back will blow up. But it's never going to hurt from something heavy. I've never heard it ever doing anything heavy. I've never gotten hurt ever doing anything heavy. I don't believe in karma, Daniel. I don't believe in knocking on wood. The good Lord will take care of me. Although I tell you what, I don't know if y'all have ever felt this, because I have felt this quite a bit. You and I don't know if it's true or not, but I tell people it's true. I have gotten like a hard burning in your like upper groin kind of deal, and like a hard burning at the bottom of a squat. And I always felt like the next squat is when a hernia is going to happen. And so anytime I feel that kind of a burning there, I racked it immediately. We're done for the day. And I've never tried to do a squat once you felt that burning, but it's such like a comes all on all of a sudden type deal. It cannot be okay. Like something bad's going to happen. But you always I feel that burning before anything bad has ever happened. Like nothing bad's ever happened because I always feel that beforehand, and then I just stop. Have you guys felt that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, I felt it.
Not a burning, but I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, that's my goal now.
I have this weird thing in one of my knees that, like, if I'm doing like a lot of squats or a lot of wall balls or a lot of whatever, at some point, sometimes, and it's random, I'll get kind of like not necessarily a burning, but I'll get that feeling in my knee that I'm like, something could happen if I keep squatting. And then sometimes I keep going and sometimes I stop.
But so I feel like I'm a big time baby. Either baby or just being smart. But like, if anything feels bad ever, I'm done. I stop immediately. It doesn't matter what weight I'm at. It doesn't matter if I'm warming up. Like if my knees hurt, we're not doing it. If my back hurts, we're not doing it.
That's why you've been so healthy, dude.
Well, I feel like that's common sense though. You don't think more. You don't do that.
No. Well, I had to learn how to do that because a couple things. One, I wasn't able to in certain situations because you have to like get ready to play or something. But
sure. Football is different, but yeah.
But like two, there's a sense of like self-confidence that you have to be able to just know I'm good. And maybe it's because of who you're around in the gym or whatnot, but I always felt like I was the biggest, wuss for doing something like that.
Oh, I have no ego
at
all when it comes to that.
That's great. That's great. That's how it should be. I'm not saying mine was good at all. It takes time to learn that. So
you might be onto something though, because it's to be fair, I mean, it's been maybe 10 years since I haven't been the strongest person in the room that I'm working out with. You know what I mean? So like if everybody around me was like a Chinese weightlifter and they're like, just do it, which I don't think they would be because the Chinese are smart. I think they'd be just like me with that stuff. But I feel like I do not feel the peer pressure that you might feel. You know what I mean?
Well, it differed too. Like it differed on the environment, and once guys understood it, it was fine. But yeah, no, I always was jealous of you, dude. When you had that, I think you were in Pikeville still, and you talked about you like texted me like, "Hey, I got this tendonitis deal. Like, what'd you do to fix it?" And then you just like you were fine in like a month or 2 months, and I'm over just like hurting still for 2+ years. I'm like, what the heck, man? This sucks.
You know what I did to get rid of it? I just did no pull-ups for 2 months.
I know.
Like, I'm not gonna do a pull-up until this goes away. And then tendonitis is the worst because it takes so long.
No, you don't have to tell me about it. Trust me.
I tell people all the time, the second you feel this flare up, you're done. Like you don't try at all. Because butterfly pull-ups is one of the worst things ever to get that makes tendonitis happen, elbow tendonitis happen. And yeah, like you literally just can't do anything to get rid of it. You just literally can't do anything. And then in 2 weeks, you see what it feels like. Nope, still hurts. Then you don't do anything again for 2 weeks. You know what you do? You get on a squat cycle. No, the elbows don't hurt on a squat cycle.
When you have the freedom to do that, that's exactly right.
Yeah, your life must suck. You just have to do it.
It doesn't now. It's great. It's great now.
What did you even get tendonitis from?
Oh, goodness. You want the whole background?
Sure.
Okay.
I just don't know what.
Buckle up. So
I'm trying to think of like what football people do to make that happen. Like I wouldn't, you know what I mean?
It's repetitive. Not
sure,
elbow,
but
not. It was knee. It was all knee.
Oh no. Okay, this is where you got your shot.
One shot.
You know, Daniel took steroids when he was in the NFL. They made him do it.
Dude, I think I've had like.
They put Trenbolone right in his knee.
I've probably injected my left tendon with upwards of 30 needles.
Hitler would be so proud.
And none of them worked. You know what worked? Not doing anything. But
it's all just a Band-Aid that makes it worse.
You just need the time. You're exactly right. I mean, unfortunately, there was never quite enough time. And then I was also an idiot about it where I was like, hey, I need to make sure I'm strong enough when I show up, when in reality, it's like
healthy would trump anything.
Yes. You're going to be strong enough to survive. So, yeah, whatever.
But that's the thing. Like when you're in that situation, like you're trying to make a name for yourself and you're trying to make it, you know, like,
right.
Or you're trying to stay, you know what I mean? Right. So like you kind of have to, when you're not that, I'm assuming, I don't know, but when you're not that big name guy, when you're kind of going, what we talked about in Knoxville, like when you're kind of going week to week, you kind of,
when you don't have that gold wristband.
Yeah, exactly.
For those that don't understand, when we were in
no, people don't need to understand. You just let it be.
Just type it in the comments so when Grant pops in, he sees gold wristband.
You just type in gold, enter, and then wristband, enter, and then just let it be.
Oh man.
You also do that workout that he texted.
I don't even understand what he's saying, dude. I cannot stand his text. Like, by the third text, I mute the conversation.
I wasn't ready for all that. Oh my gosh, dude, you would hate Sevon. Sevon's so much worse. He texts like that, but like 18 times.
Oh my god!
Like it's Sevon, and nobody else texts like that. It's just Sevon, and it must be like an old person thing.
See, I got it from young people because Mark texted like that.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Well, must be like a generation thing then. Coming back.
Who knows?
Destiny texts like that a lot.
It's probably personality related.
I just don't text her back.
I like if Leslie sends me 15 texts, I just say okay.
That's exactly what I do. If I
And
text back, it's one word.
And I read maybe 70% of it. I was definitely like
Yeah.
skimming. If there's like a whole bunch of stuff, I'm like, all right.
And it depends on the context too. If it's just like nonsense.
Yeah, she'll text the same
no,
thing in like 8 different texts in a slightly different way.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Goodness gracious.
Like it's like she'll text like, I'm trying to get my evenings figured out on my new job, and then enter or text, right? And then she goes, my new job says I need to figure out my evenings. What evenings do you think are available? And I've told her a million times, like the evenings don't really matter. I can make like pretty much anything work. Mom comes on Wednesdays, so that is very helpful with Abby Grace. And then she says like, what evenings do you think are available? Are you working any of those evenings? And then and then she goes, if you're working these evenings, can you move them? And then like it's just like 18 different texts of just anything about evenings. And I'm like, just set it up. I'll figure it out after the fact. Literally, you just tell me what you are doing when you're doing it, and then I'll handle everything else. That's it.
The one that gets me is, hey, did you see my text? Did I text you back? If I didn't text you back, then no, I didn't see it.
I don't get that one, but that's pretty hilarious. Hey, did you see my text? You should type. You ever typed yes? it just let it be.
It drives me insane. If it gets to that point, then I just don't text back. I get aggravated. I'm just like, yeah, we'll just talk later.
Destiny, bless your heart. Listen, Destiny. He's never gonna watch that video. Now it's now it's out of spite. Yeah, he's going. Exactly. He will never watch this video. You should set it up on your TV, and then when he's watching TV, just distract him, and then put it on there if it's like a YouTube thing, and then it'll just be on there, and he won't even know he's watching the video you wanted him to watch, and then you can just be happy about it.
Smooth.
Yep. I've never done that, but I'm just telling you, I think that would work.
Talking from experience, it sounds like.
Nope. No, sir. But I'm happy to be home. Daniel, did you ever get depressed is the wrong word, but like sad from being away so much? What was the most you've ever been away? 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah.
So it's similar then. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the whole time though.
Oh, well, then that's a little bit different. But
yeah. I think I had 21. I think I had 5 workouts before I got signed. And that was like almost back to back to back to back to back. So I like literally would fly out Monday, work out Tuesday, fly out Tuesday, and then I'm back. And I would just not unpack because I'm like, well, I might get called next week, so I'll just figure this out.
We got in like a borderline fight about the packing deal. Like I had my luggage, like I brought it home, and I'm literally flying 2 days later. Okay. And I just left it in like on the side, like in the living room by the TV, but like it's like it's in the side of the hallway, right? And then she said, can you move your bag? And I'm like, can I just leave it there? I'm literally going to just bring it with me. I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to take it back out for no reason because I'm literally leaving in 2 days. And she goes, I don't like looking at it. And I'm like, then don't look at it. I don't want to move it just to move it again. This makes no sense. Why do we have to do this? And she's like, and then she said something. I probably should have been listening. I wasn't listening. At this point, I was tuning out. I don't think it was what if we have somebody over, but it was something stupid like that. Like, because we're not gonna have anybody over, right? And then I just grabbed the suitcase and I put it there, and then I just didn't talk to her for like 2 hours. And just so she knew that I was mad about the situation. And I feel like she probably was happy regardless but I was very mad that she wanted me to move this suitcase so badly. And then I told my friends this at the gym, and Jason sent me an Everybody Loves Raymond episode. Do you know this show?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the show, Brock?
Mm-hmm.
And they had the same fight in this episode about a suitcase that was on like the stairway, and they both just ignored it until and it's been there for like 3 weeks. He wasn't like flying it was just about moving the suitcase, and it just stayed there for 3 weeks. And then they started telling people like, I can't believe she hasn't moved the suitcase. And she goes, I can't believe he hasn't moved the suitcase. And and then all these people are like, or Raymond's mom, he goes, can you help me with this situation? And she goes, the suitcase situation. And he's like, how do you know? He's like, you don't think I've seen this suitcase for 3 weeks? And then he has to travel. He has to go travel. And he goes, I don't want to be the one that budges. I don't want to be. And then his friends or his brother is like, I feel like you have to be, man. You're leaving. He goes, and like just upset. And then it pans in the next scene, and she goes, Ray, are you gonna load your bag? He goes, yep, I'm on it. And then he walks out with a grocery bag of clothes. And he goes, all right, honey, I'll see you later. And then he walks out. And then,
oh my gosh.
And no, they just took it to the next level. Like he put rotten cheese in it so it would smell, so she would have to go in there. Like they took it next. And it was just so funny because it was like the exact situation that we were so mad about. Ours lasted like 5 minutes. Theirs lasted 3 weeks, but it was just such a funny episode. If y'all ever want to look it up, I think it's on Amazon, either Amazon or no, I think it's on Amazon or Peacock. I think it's on Peacock. It's just type in baggage episode. It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, that's marriage. Yeah. And then our last thought was everybody that's about to get married should watch this episode and just know that this is what marriage is like 10 years after marriage. And then you can go get married. Not that it's a bad thing. Just know you're going to have stupid arguments. Yeah, that's it. That was the story.
That is the truth.
All right, John.
It's hard to see it when you're love struck.
Oh, Daniel.
First John.
So nice.
First John too. I meant sorry. Twitter paid was probably the right term.
Twitter paid.
You know, from Bambi. Oh wow. Okay, that's just my family thing then. When okay, if you guys have seen Bambi, right? Sorry, and then we'll move into First John.
Yes.
Okay. So
wait. Is this when the dude gets all stiff?
Thumper, yeah, and his like foot goes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Disney's way of saying he has an erection.
Well, if you're looking at it from a kid's perspective, it's a lot more mild than that.
Well, that's what it was.
Dude, there's some crazy stuff, and Walt Disney was a creep, but we'll get to that some other time. So
that is wild. We should do an episode of like hidden things that they put in kids' movies. There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like it's like to an alarming rate. I almost think they just do it to make the adults like laugh at something.
Sometimes, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like Shrek had a lot of stuff like that. But
Shrek wasn't completely a kids movie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Had a lot of stuff like that. I'm just okay.
All right.
So I will not lie. I definitely read John 2. So I'm gonna let y'all start it off.
That's okay. We're probably not going to make it very far, to be honest. One, because we're 34 minutes in, just shooting the crap. But two, there's some substance in the first. Brock was saying this before we got on. There's some serious substance in the first 6 verses, and so that's about all I adequately studied. So we'll probably roll until Brock doesn't have anything to say in that regard, because
we can just do
most equipped.
we can do verses 1 through 6. I mean, there's plenty to talk about.
All right.
It can be really simple, or it can be not very simple. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure John will pose some questions. We don't do a good job of posing questions, and John will probably do that. So
no pressure.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, no pressure. All right. Who wants to read?
I can read.
All
right. 1 through 6.
Yeah, 1 John 2, 1 through 6.
Just a little prologue. Okay. My dear children, I am writing this to you so that you will not sin. But if anyone does sin, we have an advocate who pleads our case before the Father. He is Jesus Christ, the one who is truly righteous. He himself is the sacrifice that atones for our sins, and not only our sins, but the sins of all the world. As we can be sure that we know him if we obey his commandments. If someone claims, I know God, but does not obey God's commandments, that person is a liar and is not living in the truth. But those who obey God's word truly show how completely they love him. This is how we know we are living in him. Those who say they live in God should live their lives as Jesus did.
What version you got? Just curious.
NLT.
That's what you got, right, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, Brock, open us up.
So the very first thing that I notice is I'm writing this to you so that you will not sin. But if anyone does sin, because obviously we're going to sin, but if anyone does sin, we have an advocate who pleads our case before the Father. He is Jesus Christ, the one who is truly righteous. He himself is the sacrifice that atones for our sins, not only our sins, but the sins of all the world. So in the first 2 verses of chapter 2, again, he just presents the gospel, that Jesus is beside the Father. He's an advocate for us. When we do sin, Jesus is saying to God, or Jesus is asking for grace for us in our behalf. Yeah, he's asking God for grace in our behalf. So that's the very first thing that sticks out to me, is that he basically, from in both chapters. So if you go back to chapter 1, at the very end of verse 1, he is the word of life. This one who is life itself was revealed to us. We have seen him. Now we testify and proclaim to you that he is the one who is eternal life. So in both chapters, he starts off speaking the truth, speaking the gospel, telling you who God is, or who Jesus is. In this case, he's the advocate for us, who is, once we sin, he's asking the Father for grace on our behalf. So in the first 2 verses, obviously, that's the very first thing that sticks out to me. Then, if you keep going, and we can be sure that we know him if we obey his commandments. That's really cut and dry. And it goes perfectly along with, what is it? Is it Matthew 7? Hang on. Yeah, Matthew 7:20. Yes, just as you can identify a tree by its fruit, so you can identify people by their actions. Right off the rip, he's proclaiming the gospel, and then he goes straight into, and you know that you know God if you obey his commandments. So you know what the gospel is, and then you know how you live out the gospel.
Yeah, I think that's just to add to what you're saying. I think the framework of the whole chapter is kind of exactly what you're getting at there, where John provides a reason for his writing. There's five sections in here where he says, I am writing these things to you, and then boom. So he declares why he's writing these things. Then there's kind of a litmus test after that. Like, okay, so this is how you can know how, like, what I'm trying to accomplish with writing these things to you. This is how you can know that you have what I'm trying to accomplish, type of thing. So, like you said in this first one, I'm writing these things to you so that you may not sin. And then he presents the gospel. And then there's the litmus test for, okay, are you in Christ? Just to point out a couple of the finer details, because I think you summarized it really, really well. The first verse I wanted to hit on, like, what is can one of you read verse 1 in your translation? I just want to hear it in the NLT.
My dear children, I am writing this to you so that you will not sin. But if anyone does sin, we have an advocate who pleads our case before the Father. He is Jesus Christ, the one who is truly righteous.
Okay, perfect. So mine says something similar initially. I'm writing these things to you so that you may not sin. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate what that means exactly. Does that mean that we're never going to sin if we're Christians? Clearly not, because then John would be lying in verse 8 and verse 10 of chapter 1 when he says, if we say that we have no sin, we are deceiving ourselves and the truth is not in us. And then verse 10, if we say that we have not sinned, we make him a liar and his word is not in us. So this, and for those of you that might be reading through the book, kind of the theme in general, there's different translations for different or different ways to say it. I'm trying to say, like, when we get to chapter 3, it says something cut and dry, like, hey, those who love Jesus don't sin. And then other translations say don't practice sin. So I think as you read through the book, the idea is a changed Christian does not practice sin, right? Which that goes along with exactly what you said. You know a tree by its fruit.
And if they are sinning, they're cognizant that they have sinned.
Yes. Yeah. And
one of the things that hit me the hardest in high school was Daniel told me that my conscience was seared, and means, like, I don't even realize that I'm sinning when I am sinning. Like, I don't even look at it as sin. And so I think I almost think, like, whenever he goes, so that you will not sin, it's that you are cognizant of it and you try not to. And then when you do, you know that you did and you repented for it. And you know that, like, Jesus is there to plead your case. Like, that hints the need of Jesus.
And that was kind of the next part I wanted to get into was that advocate aspect of Christ. And what are they, like, that whole section, verses 1 and 2, what does that remind you guys of in the Bible?
What do you mean?
I would say let who has not sinned cast the first stone. Just, I know it's not probably what you're looking for, but that it means, like, everybody has sinned, hence the need for Jesus. And like that is, we're talking about an adulterer who needs Jesus just in the Pharisees. What is, like, the Pharisees need Jesus just as much as she does. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like everybody falls short of the glory of God no matter what.
And thus we all need an advocate. I got what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
You saying the first 2 verses, what does it remind you of?
Yeah, like maybe a system, or I don't want to lead too much, but
I mean, you got like in a courtroom setting, you've got you've got a judge and you've got the defendant, the plaintiff. Is that what it is? Well, your defendant is sitting beside the criminal, right? Is that how it is, or do I have it backwards?
The lawyer is sitting next to the criminal.
The defendant is the criminal.
Yeah, the defendant's the criminal, and the lawyer is the advocate.
The defense lawyer is
right for the defense lawyer.
Yeah,
is
Jesus
for the criminal.
is your lawyer to God the judge, and you are the defendant, and you have pleaded guilty. And then this judge goes, "Well, now since I see the lawyer that you have, you're good to go."
And to be more specific, like I see the priestly system in place here, right? What were the priests in the Old Testament? They were advocates. The high priest went into the Holy of Holies to advocate, basically like, hey, we've made
for the
sacrifices. The people are clean because of these sacrifices, the blood or whatever. And I'm coming before God and going about that whole process. And I think this is really cool when you relate it to Hebrews. Hebrews 7, verses 24 and 25. But in Hebrews, the whole first half of Hebrews, the writer is building the argument that Jesus is our high priest, or is high priest, basically, the ultimate high priest. So verse 24 of chapter 7, he says, "But Jesus, on the other hand, because he continues forever, holds his priesthood permanently. Therefore, he is able to also to save forever those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them." And then if you go back to verse 2 of 1 John, right, it uses the same priestly language with the advocate, and then the next one being, "And he himself is the propitiation for our sins," or you guys, I think, said, "We're sacrifice of atonement," or atoning sacrifice. He's literally like, I'm the high priest. I'm going in to advocate to you before God because I was the one that was put as a sacrifice.
He's the sacrifice.
He's both the sacrifice and the high priest in this case.
And there's no greater of either of the two.
What do you mean?
There's no greater sacrifice. There's no greater advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It covers all, and it's for all that believe. So I thought that was really cool. Like, that's one of those situations where, like, you see the Bible as a true, like, cover to cover story. It's not just, hey, this is old, outdated, doesn't apply. Like, there were pictures the whole time. And I think a lot of us just miss it because we don't take the time to look, myself included. So anyways, that was what I had in verse 1 and 2. So
the rest of it, I think, applies like so greatly to the world we currently live in.
Yes.
All right.
You can't.
It's cool, guys.
Can't.
Great input there.
I'm trying to build off of that, but there's really not a lot to say besides that. Like, and it's so cut and dry, dude. You can look.
It really is. I mean, it makes me think, like, when you say cut and dry, and I 100% agree, then I think black and white, and then I think it's worse to be gray than it is black. You know, mm-hmm. I'm not talking about people.
We understood that.
Okay, just anybody clips it.
I mean, that's what Jesus says in Revelation.
Goodness gracious. I wasn't ready for that one.
But that's what Jesus says in Revelation when he's talking to, I forget which church it is, but like, because you're neither hot nor cold, I'm going to spit you out, basically. Like, John's writing is very, it's scary, but it's also very, like,
blunt.
Hey man, yeah, this is what it is. Like, so it's comforting in that way, because at least you know what's the truth.
Yeah, no, I think I would rather most teaching be like that than left up for interpretation.
We're not trying to offend anybody or something.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to say I agree with you. I think some teaching tries not to offend certain people and like present the story in a certain loving way.
No,
But
like it's not about offending, it's just the truth.
Right.
Like
exactly.
And it's not like we're saying, oh, you're going to hell. We're saying everybody is deserving of hell. Nobody has earned heaven except for, and the one guy who did suffered amazingly.
Earned every aspect of it. You got anything you want to add to verses 3 or 4? I think verse 5 is something interesting that we can camp on a little bit. But I mean, verse 3 and 4 seem pretty like, reminds me of Jesus' words straight up in John. I'm going to go to John 14:15. And I've used this in conversations with people that say they're Christians and aren't bearing the fruit. I don't truly know their hearts. But verse 15, right. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. From Jesus' mouth.
Do you say that when you talk to him?
What?
You go like, listen, with all due respect, you're the least fruit-bearing tree I've ever seen. Or like,
so you
got no seeds of a tree at all. Or like, do you just have like your own saying? Or
I'll be completely honest here. I've had the conversation I can remember it with was with an individual that they don't understand the Bible for what it is at all. They don't understand any aspect of it. They think they do because it's like more of a cultural thing or my fire insurance or whatever.
And they claim Christianity.
Yeah, and they don't believe in the inerrancy of Scripture, so they're just trying to choose like, oh, this was outdated, this doesn't apply anymore, this or that. I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm approaching it with a like, look, if this is how your life is, and you say you love Him, then
everything applies. There's not one thing that doesn't apply.
Right. Exactly.
Anybody that says like anything about like the Old Testament laws or like Leviticus and like why this is, we don't eat meat and stuff like that. The second somebody starts a biblical argument with that, it's like, it's not even worth having the argument with because they think that they know and they haven't done like the actual research to know. Even from like an atheistic point of view, you can't even argue the Bible from that. Like you don't understand the argument you're trying to have, even if you're arguing to disprove it, or like debating a Christian, like an atheist versus a Christian, even if you don't know the other person's side enough to even have the argument.
Yeah, and there's no context. Like, Grant just said this in the comments. We aren't national Israel. There's prescriptive and there's descriptive stuff in the Old Testament. Like, some of the stuff was descriptive in the sense of like God wasn't approving of it; it was describing it, and some of it was prescriptive for Israel because He was like He's the king. He was the king of Israel. This was before So like He ruled over them in a government type sense. So we're not. It's very different in a lot of things. Like. And then obviously Jesus abolished the whole sacrificial system because He was the ultimate atoning sacrifice.
That's my point. Like I think a lot of people will try to argue different or like contradictions within the Bible, and there's actually not any contradictions. There's a new covenant that you don't get, and so now you think it's a contradiction, and it's not at all. Like I know Lee Strobel gets brought up a lot, but so many people have tried to disprove the Bible and it still hasn't been done like in an accepted manner. You know what I mean? Where they're like, yeah, I can't, that's evidence. And that in itself, I think should prove the inability to disprove it, as many people have tried, should prove that it's all real. Jesus is everything in that. Everything in that Bible is true.
I mean, that's a good point. What other document in the course of all of history has undergone the fire that the Bible has,
And still stood true?
Yeah, and still held, like, grown in followers even.
Yeah, and literally, we're talking about a flood of the entire world. We're talking about splitting a freaking sea open, somebody resurrecting from the dead, like literally things that are miracles, or like if they happen today, we would say that's not real. Like, you know what I mean? They can't disprove it. Which is it's just insane.
It's really cool when you think about it. Brock, you got anything you wanted to add on 5 and 6? I'm there's something specific. One word I really want to, or phrase I want to focus on is 5. But before I get into that, I'd love to hear you all's thoughts on anything in that in particular, because I know you had some good. Initially, your summary on 6 I thought was pretty good.
I have something on 5.
6 and hit on 5.
You got something, Brock?
No, go for it.
So when it says, so the whole verse is, but those who obey God's word truly show how completely they love him. That is how we know we are living in him. When it says truly show how completely they love him, that stands out to me as like you can believe in God. You can know that Jesus is the Son of Man and still not like embrace the word, or like embrace the word might be, but no. I'm going to go ahead and stand by it, because you can be saved by Christ and believe that Jesus is the Son of Man. And, he died on the cross and he is the one and living God, and not 100%. And like still embrace the word might be the wrong situation, but like the wrong thing I'm going for, and you might can help me out, Daniel. But you aren't completely loving him. You are loving him. You believe in him, but like it's not complete love, because you don't. And it's not even that you don't believe what the Bible says. It's just that you choose not to. I study it for your own life. Like for your own, you're not living the word. You believe in the word, but you're not living the word. And those are two different things.
It's funny that you brought that up, because that's the area I wanted to camp on a little bit is that part. My translation says, so verse 5, but whoever keeps his word, that's God, Jesus' word, in him, the love of God has truly been perfected.
Been perfected. Right.
Yeah.
And so we're all striving for that perfection. I think you're capable of being saved. Like you are going to heaven. You have a relationship with God without that perfected love, but you should strive for that.
Sure. I think that's an interesting interpretation, and I'm not going to rule that out. I think so. This same word, this perfected, can also be said complete, but it's the same word used in James, same Greek word technically used in James chapter 2, verse 22. So James is talking about Abraham. I'll just read verse 21 too, because it'll give a little context. So verse 21, was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered up Isaac his son on the altar? So that justified word is vindicated in the sense of like his faith was proven. And then verse 22, you see that faith was working with his works, and as a result of the works, faith was perfected or complete. So it's like, hey, your faith was realized by your works, types of thing. So in this, God's love is realized or complete with how the way you keep his word. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool, like seeing James' exact type of language with the faith works type thing and how those work. John is making the same argument. It's just a little different verbiage.
So like I'll give you an example. Like, for instance, like when Abraham said like Sarah is not his wife. Like that's not complete love. That's not complete. You're right. Or when Jonah was like, I'm all right. I'm not going over there. I'm not going to Assyria. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's. It's not that they don't believe in God and have a relationship with God. That's just an example of you are not complete or perfected love. Right. Trying to think of other examples when Peter denied him. Do you have any other
We can be the same way, like whenever
well,
we have
saying I think we're like that a lot. I
Oh, yeah.
think there's not much perfected love going on, and we all should strive for it.
Right. Because there's things that we know that we should do daily that we choose not to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe not necessarily every single day. You might not get that feeling or that urge to share the gospel or to bring up faith with somebody, but that's another good example is when you do feel that urge you feel a conversation kind of moving that way, and you feel the urge to just bring it up, and then you don't. That's not showing love. You know what I mean? To your neighbor or to God.
I completely agree with both you guys. I don't think anybody is complete this side of heaven, right? That's once we die, then we'll reach glorification, right? And then we'll be complete. But we're working towards being complete. Like James used similar verbiage with trials. Consider it all joy, my brother, when you encounter various trials. For testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect work, right? I don't want to misquote that completely because it's such a good passage, but
James 1:1, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
1:3, 1:3-4.
Go ahead, Daniel.
No, go ahead. It basically said it. So,
well, like it kind of builds on itself a little bit because it says, and you can be sure that you know him if you obey his commandments, right? So what I'm saying is, like it says, perfected love, and I don't think very many people have that very often. And then you're like, if you have the question of, do I have an actual relationship with God? Are you trying to obey his commandments, or are you willingly disobeying them for earthly stuff,
sure.
or whatever, your own stuff, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you're not actively seeking out to obey his commandments, or convicted when you don't, or whatever, like, then do you have a relationship with God? Are you like, you can say you believe, but do you? We talked about this before. If you don't believe like anything in the Bible, and like any like certain part of the Bible, how do you believe any of it? Right? So, and I'm super bad about this. You know what I mean? I think I prayed one time, or no. You'll think this is funny. Every single plane ride, I just thanked God for everything he's given me, and I appreciated everything. And I was like, I've lived a blessed life. I pray for this flight to be safe. And I don't think I prayed at all other than on the plane somewhere. and literally just didn't cross my mind except on a plane. And I think I talked with Grant. I think we talked with you guys. Like, if we lived every single morning by you're on a plane, and the plane could go down, and like all those thoughts that go through your head, like you're gonna die, right? So you have all these thoughts that go in your head. If you lived every single day like with that in your head, then that's how you should live. And if you're not, then you're not doing it right.
And on top of that, to segue, not to segue, but to build on that, I can't remember who it was I was listening to, and on top of that point, they said, we've got to live like there is no tomorrow. And he said, not just for us, like we've got to start living like the people around us don't have tomorrow. Like once we've found Christ, it's not about us anymore. Because if we don't see tomorrow, we know what happens, right? But the people around us, if they don't see tomorrow, that's on me, in a way. You know what I'm saying? Not you know what I mean? Like that's my job. Working at Kimbrell's Collision, I should make sure that everybody at Kimbrell's, one, knows that I'm a Christian, and two, I should know where everybody else's heart is at as well. You know what I mean? Because I've had those conversations. I'm not saying I have, but I should,
I'll take you one step further, Brock. You should know Jason Hopper's heart. And look. oh no! Like tomorrow could be his last day, Brock. It could be his last day.
It's funny you say that because I was actually almost, no joke, I almost texted y'all the other day and was like, y'all, I feel some type of way. I feel a little convicted about talking junk. And I don't. It's not like I constantly hate on him by no means, but I shouldn't. I shouldn't hate on anybody at all. You know what I mean? Because I'm also like I'm gonna be nice to anybody that I see, whether it's him or whether it's whoever. So in a way, like that's kind of fake.
You got to fake it till you make it, though.
Oh, I could have just said something, but I'm not going to because I'm trying to do better.
There you go. There you go.
Look at you.
Well, hey man, God is still working to perfect His love in you.
Tries to save the day.
Dude, I really don't hate him. Like John really has kind of taken off and ran with that a little bit.
He stoked the flames a little. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
dude, that fire was blazing before.
Dude,
it was just a full propane tank. It needed to be turned on.
I'm on. I got marshmallows. That's all I got.
No, I don't care. I don't care at all. I really do. I really hope he does well. I really do. That's no joke.
You should tell him that.
Just something to add before we
it wouldn't
get
be
off the
received
deep
well.
end.
That's the problem.
Doesn't matter. You should go out. You should, you know what? You should pray for his training, and then you should say, "Hey, his heart. You should pray for his heart in his training, and be like, "Hey, I prayed for you yesterday, and I just hope you have a good year." And that's it. And walk away. I tell you what, Brock. If you do that, I will commit to doing that to somebody that I don't like as well. Daniel, can we have a tripod of prayer to people we don't like?
Yeah.
Who's your person?
I'm trying to think. Do I have to like someone I'm in contact with and have to tell them I'm praying for them?
Oh, I feel like that's the yeah.
I don't know if I have someone I'm currently in contact with that I just really can't stand. I'm down, but let me think about it.
I have to think about it. I have to think about it as well. Brock, do you know anybody that I don't like? Danny Spiegel, but I don't talk to her.
You could. Well, that might be received badly, but
I could DM her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, what's up, Garrett?
Hey, Danny. I know I've spoken very badly about you, but I prayed about you yesterday. I just hope your year is going to go well.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that.
I don't know. That doesn't sound bad. How would that be received bad?
I mean, especially if she knows that you've talked a certain way about her.
I don't know if she knows I exist, but I said that about Brooke Wells, and she blocked me the next day, so she knows that I exist. I got
You said the
so
same
mad
thing?
about the no. I didn't DM her. I was so it annoyed me so badly that Brooke Wells blocked me because I have not said anything bad about her. She had this like qualifier thing where she didn't do burpees. I think you've heard the story.
Yeah, I saw. I heard the whole thing, and then
But
Grant peed himself with the whole situation.
sure,
And whatnot,
sure. Yeah. I have not spoken badly about Brooke at all. That's all Hiller. That's all Sevon. I haven't at all. And now all I've said was like, I think she's going to go and rock the competition. I've had her predicted first. I haven't said anything bad. I even told her coach, I was like, hey, I tried to be the voice of reason a little bit. Not all of us think like, like she should just be slaughtered in the media. And he was super receptive of that. And then literally the day, like Sunday at Syndicate, she blocked me. And I'm like, why? Like, I have done nothing. I don't care if people block me, but I want to earn it. Like Guy blocked me a long time ago, and I get it. Didn't upset me at all. I was like, I get that. If Danny Spiegel were to block me, I would get it. She has not blocked me, but I don't follow her either, so I don't ever really see what she's about on purpose. But Brooke blocked me, and I was like, I don't get. It made me so mad. I'm like, why? It made me really not like her, honestly, because then I did not dislike her before that.
What'd you say?
There's nothing. That's my point. I didn't say anything bad about her. I'm associated with people who have, but it just did not make sense to me at all.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm not sorry.
She was probably never mind.
She's not gonna be in the mountain anymore, I'll tell you that.
That's so subjective, dude. You can't be that petty.
Watch me. No. The mountain is not biased. It has to be. It's a rich tapestry of fitness. I can't be bought one way or the other.
Thank you.
Although Dallin made me upset the other day. I told Dallin if he played a grid for one day, like on the last match, it was in Tampa. He's a 3-hour drive from Tampa. So I was like, hey, you should come down and then just play for us like for this day, because that's allowed. And Danielle Brandon played. I don't know if you know who that is, Daniel, but played the other day. Got rocked by the last sandbag. It was glorious to watch. And then he kind of held me on the fence a little bit, and then he ended up saying no. And then I told him, hey, I'll put you on top of the mountain for a week if you play for us. But it's not like the last mountain. The next week, I'm updating that. But I will give, he gets to be on top for a week because he did that for me. And then he said on this last podcast that I just put him on the mountain. He didn't say for a week. He was like, no, I'm just on the top. And that's a big difference in phrasing. And he didn't clarify, and I was really upset about it.
Well, you got to make sure that you're just not throwing any favors.
Now I'm going to have to drop him a row because he did that.
Oh my gosh.
No, I can't drop him a row. There's not anybody else to put up there.
So, in conclusion,
perfect. Verse 6 is perfect to conclude the 1 John 2 discussion. Out of all of that, those who say they live in God should live their lives as Jesus did. Look through Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, 4 different accounts. Look at how Jesus lived his life. If your life matches up with that, you're on the right track. Doesn't mean you're good, because you still got to have faith. But if your life is aligning with Christ's life, the way he lived his 33 years on earth, you're on the right track.
And I want to give a additional encouragement that we're not expected or capable of doing this on our own. Verse 5 says, not the love of us has truly been perfected. The love of God. God is working through us. Philippians 2, verse 13 says, and this will be last thing, and then I'll shut up.
I mean, loving us is like loving a false god.
No, I'm not saying like it's not us, this is what's tough. Like it says the love of God is perfected or is good night, Nancy. I need to be able to recall this. But whoever keeps his word in him, the love of God has truly been perfected. What I'm trying to say is it's not our love has been truly perfected. It's God's love through us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Philippians 2 verse 13 says, for it is God who is at work in you both to will and to work for his good pleasure. So it's not like we got to do this on our own. The Holy Spirit's working through us for those that are saved. But
yeah. 1 Corinthians 15:10, like Paul says, I worked harder than all of them. I've done more than all of them, but it's not I, but God who works through me.
Yep. So,
it's my favorite verse.
It's a great verse.
Very keeps you humble.
Yeah. Well, I think we made it 1 through 6, and there's a lot in this chapter. So I don't know how long of a passage we'll do next week, but I'm still trying to work through his verbiage on verses 7 and 8. So that might take some time. I don't know. We'll see how long this little.
I like this. I like going through a book, like little by little.
You help to, like I said, you do a good job asking questions. Brock and I just don't.
Okay, so I'm so stupid that I don't get it.
No, I mean posing. I shouldn't say asking. I should say posing questions, because you've had a lot of good input. So you liven the conversation, John. We missed you. I'm just trying to say that is what I'm trying. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
We have.
Thank you. I feel missed. No, I like going through the book. It feels much more like a Bible study. I think it keeps us in it much more too.
Yeah.
I would start like putting like the verses that we're going through in the thumbnail.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then Brock, every thumbnail should be the picture that I sent the group, if you can somehow do that.
The picture that you sent the group tonight?
Yeah.
Picture of your daughter?
I love that.
Yeah. No, if you can make that the thumbnail that people see, and then they just see 1 John 2, 1 through 6, and then that's just the picture they see, people will click on it. They see 3 faces just talking, like they're like, okay. But like this would get you like, what is this? You know?
Baby makes everything better.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Except for sleep.
Yeah.
All right, to finish this off, since I didn't do it from the beginning, I'm going to tell you about a conspiracy for a few minutes. Okay, so
before you go, can y'all hang out for like 3 minutes after?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm coming out with something. I'm really excited about it.
Oh.
Like somebody you can potentially win $1,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
And some peptides. Looking at you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't need them anymore, but thanks.
You can get something else, man. They got Captain America serum in there somewhere. All right, go ahead, Brock. Conspiracy.
Okay, so September 16th, I believe.
That's the day after my birthday.
Sure. September 16th, 1994.
That's when I was born.
It's already getting crazy because your name's John, too. Okay.
Hold on. Is this going to make me like feel things?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. September 16th, 1994. In Zimbabwe. It is the
That's where I was born.
the town. The town is Rua. Oh, my hamstring's cramping. The town is Rua, Zimbabwe. There was a school, and from what I understand, the school was more for it was either English or British. A lot of it was more of a kind of a wealthier area, if I understand it correctly, and there was a lot of English and British students there, wealthy parents, blah 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 blah. So on this day at school, broad daylight, normal day, they had the nights prior they had been seeing like these lights, and there was reports of people saying that there were blue lights in the sky and blah 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 blah. So the teachers had now this is okay. This is where it gets a little weird. So the teachers had a big faculty meeting or a big meeting, whatever, inside the school. Well, right outside, it was like a fenced in area. So the kids were out. And again, this was in 1994. So you got to remember that the there wasn't people weren't as crazy about supervision. So they're right outside the school, playing on the playground, throwing football, doing what kids do. And this is from age. This specific group was ages 5 to 12. So and there was roughly around 100 kids out there. Well, they reported that they saw a UFO, and in the middle of the day, this UFO came down, and two to three. Some of the kids said two, some of them said three. 2 to 3 beings wearing all black started coming towards them, and through telepathy, I think is how you say it. Through telepathy, whatever, they were communicating with these kids, showing them different visions and all kind of crazy stuff. Well, they were saying that they were not shape shifting. They were not teleporting, but they were shifting. Instead of walking towards them, they would like jump forward 10 foot, jump to the side 10 foot, and
That's
then they were just
teleporting.
They were within. The reports say that they were within 3 to 4 feet of the children. And the crazy thing is, or one of the crazy things is, 62 of the kids out of that group of roughly 100 were interviewed, and they were all interviewed separately. All 62 of them had the same story with the beings dressed in black. They all drew similar pictures of what they saw. So this was a big thing for the next few years, obviously, and it's still to this day one of the most credible UFO sightings that there's been. So there's a guy named John Mack, and he was a psychiatrist. That's right. He was a Pulitzer Prize winning psychiatrist, a professor at Harvard Medical School, and he lived in London, England. So he kept going and kept going and kept going on this stuff. Like he had a lot of pull. Sorry, he had a lot of pull with a lot of well-known, intelligent people. So he wouldn't let this thing go. Like he kept pushing it and kept pushing it and kept pushing it because people were trying to silence it or whatever. So he kept researching it. He's written books. He's done interviews. Kept researching. They kept trying to quiet him. And randomly, September 27th, 2004, he was hit by a drunk driver in London. And this is where it gets really wild. Apparently, now I tried to look into it, but I couldn't really find anything in the little bit of searching that I did. But part of the conspiracy is apparently in London that day, September 27th, there was 4 men named John Mack that were killed in England. So he was hit by a drunk driver. It didn't say how the other 3 died, But what they're thinking is, or obviously based on the conspiracy, is there was a hit put out on him because he wouldn't shut up about this UFO and alien sighting stuff. So allegedly there was 3 men named John Mack that were killed in London that same day. Is that not freaking wild?
What did
Y'all are not as fascinated as I was. I probably butchered it a little bit.
What did they say to the kids telepathically?
Honestly, I can't remember. But I will find out
That's
because I'm going to listen to it
part
again.
of the story.
It was important.
You had me with demon possession for the first part.
Demon possession? What do you mean?
Like, I'm like, those are demons, dude. I'm like, you had me. That's what that is. But then once like 3 or 4 different John Macks are killed, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense because the demons know which John Mack to kill.
Yeah. Pretty wild. Now, don't know.
They would have killed. They would have
part
killed
is
him
true,
in a much more like creative way than a drunk driver too.
No, but
No,
they would have killed the right one the
It would have
first
looked like
time.
he hung himself or something like that.
Although demons aren't everywhere at the same time. What is that? Omniscient?
No, omniscience, knowing everything.
omnipotent.
Yeah.
Omnipotent. Omnipotent.
I like the way you said it, Rob.
That's how you should say it. That's how it's spelled.
Phonics. Yep, that was my story.
Yeah, I was hoping
it sounded a lot better on the podcast I was listening to earlier.
That gave me the creeps, dude. Okay, so just to add to this, my dad was talking to a former missionary at a church we went to in Denver. This was a while back, but I remember because what he said was crazy. Really old guy, like he's probably, well, not really old guy, but he was an old guy. So he had been a missionary in Africa for a long time, but he had been stateside for a minute, and he said like he was not. I guess he was very conservative, kind of Baptist guy, like so no speaking in tongues, any of that type of stuff, right? And he said he witnessed demon possession over there, like actual demon possession. And Dad was like, "Well, why don't you see it over here?" And I think he said that it was because it's like it's not as dark over here. I mean, it is dark, but like in the sense of like, dude, there's some like dark places in the world. Like we at least still have a little bit of the Judeo-Christian background, and don't get me wrong, there's some really dark places in the U.S., but like that, and then
it's not like Syria or Iran,
right.
And like these places that they're ran by just terrible people,
or those like random tribes in the middle of nowhere that are legit like sacrificing kids.
It's not fair for them, I feel like, because if they've never gotten the chance to, you know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
Like if you were born in a New Guinea tribe, how would you have ever thought anything different?
Well, let me tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
It says that, where is it in Romans where it says they'll be without excuse?
Romans 1:20. Look it up.
Go ahead, tell me.
For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, being God's, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse.
Okay.
Dude, and I feel like New Guinea, they always get thrown under the bus. Like that's the first place that anybody ever said.
Dude, that's the place. There's not a ton of places out there sacrificing babies, dude.
Poor people.
Dude, the Aztecs were doing it on the regular. All the tribes before Israel showed up were doing it on the regular. Like that's, for whatever reason, something really cool that Satan loves. He's doing it in America too. It's just through abortion. So it's like every society has done it.
That's fair.
And why?
Eating babies. There you go.
Dude. like why babies though? Like I think it's just to show
Because
like
that's
how
the most pure thing.
I know that's like you can't get more wicked than killing a baby. You really can't.
I think that's right, baby. We're not going to kill you. We're going to keep you alive. She's
I want to
smiling.
say,
happy.
like one of the satanic rituals, like when you get to the top level of like the satanic temple or whatever, one of their rituals, they have like I think it's 7 different things they have to do, and I'm pretty sure one of them, like the final one, is you have to sacrifice either somebody or you have to sacrifice a baby.
I have not researched satanic ritual pyramids, Brock. I wouldn't know.
When did you do that?
Yeah.
And what part of the internet were you on?
No,
Brock in the dark. That's it. Hey, that was in his fat life, Daniel. He was over 300 pounds and he was still looking at that stuff. Like me and Daniel were on the exact same train with that statement. We're like, I don't know, Brock. I've not looked into that.
I'm not even gonna try to explain. It was not a bad. It was from the Christian or a Christian point of view. Okay, long story short, there's a guy. He was actually one of the reasons why Anton Levy died. It's a super long story, and I know I wouldn't be able to explain it well. But long story short, this guy was trying to save this woman who had been trapped in this satanic cult, and it ended up being one of Anton Levy's. It would almost be like a modern day concubine, like one of his women or whatever, and she was trying to get out, and he wasn't letting her out, and he was. And God, I'm gonna sound like a freak show, but basically, it was talking about Exorcist and talking about and all that, and basically what they were doing is they were using, I guess, Satan's power, and they were not teleporting, but almost like telecommunicating through this woman, like they were using the dark spirits to talk through this woman, and that's what they were trying to get these evil spirits out of this woman. And it was actually, so Anton Levy was like the founder of the Satanic Church, or maybe not the founder, but he was the head of it for a long time. Well, what they would do is they would do this ritual, and so he would basically, if I understand it correctly, he would almost his spirit would leave his body, and he would control her and be speaking through her. And they were using the devil to do all this. And the final time he did it, and they this guy, obviously with Exorcist, you're praying in the name of Jesus, you're using the Bible, you're using the Lord to do all this, and they were able to cast it out. And since they cast it out, it couldn't return to Anton, so that's why he didn't wake up from that trance. But if you look it up, that's not like, the internet says he didn't die that way, but the dates and everything match up from what this guy was saying. It's pretty wild. But anyways, yeah, I know that I sound crazy when I'm saying that, but I'm gonna find it.
You don't sound crazy. I just think you should get away from that.
I promise. When I send it to you, I promise it's not a satanic thing. It's from a Christian guy.
Dude, I can't listen to that. That's just
no. I can't either.
What it was. So our church did a study on spiritual warfare a few months ago.
I was going to say your church dove into the satanic.
So our church walked through the pyramid of satanic levels, and I promise you, it's from a Christian point of view. I promise. I was told this. So we went to different classes to study each little different pyramid, and we did have to participate in a couple of things. But from a Christian view, I promise.
All right, leave him alone, man.
Dude,
leave him alone.
No, I remember I wish Leslie was in the comments. Like we went to Pikeville,
Yeah, you told me about this.
Eastern Kentucky, middle of nowhere. Very first church we went to, the first sermon we went to, they did an exorcist on this woman randomly. This woman, I mean, it was probably for attention, but like she just started like spouting off, and then the guy was like just middle of his sermon, like did an exorcist on her, and then Leslie is just like gripping my hand so tight, like just looking at me, and I was like, "Willie, just calm down. We can't like make it a deal, like just in case." We are in a danger.
Wow.
Because I truly did not know if we're in a dangerous situation or not.
Right.
Like, and I didn't want to leave in a hurry if we were in a dangerous situation, because then it's going to get way, way, way worse. Right. So I was like, just wait for it to be over and we will leave and we'll never come back. And that's what we did. But like the girl that was sitting next to her, like brought us to this church. Like Leslie, like we made friends somehow. And she's like, that's crazy. Did you see that exorcist? That's amazing. Like the power of God, like just right next to her. And and I'm like, I don't know where we moved to. Like I thought like that these people seem perfectly normal, just a little, mountain flavor, which is fine. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And then we didn't go back. But yeah. But I don't mess with that stuff at all. And I can't anymore. I remember I used to watch scary movies so much, and Daniel remembers this because when we were first friends, I would watch a lot of different things. And now I can't do the Exorcist movies. I cannot do anything demon involved. I don't want to mess with it at all. No, I don't even want to give it the opportunity to just cloud my mind or give me bad dreams or anything. You know what I mean? But like that stuff, like you said with your dad, Daniel, I think of like the true stories of like the exorcism of Emily Rose. If you look up that true story, like it just sounds terrible. Like just and I don't know. Do you think the right thing to do is to just flee that stuff as much as you can, or like Brock did, study the 7 levels of satanic culture sacrifice?
That's not what it was.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't have the right answer there. I'll send you guys a podcast. Have you guys heard of Forrest Frank?
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, he's a Christian artist. He's really big right now. To be honest, I don't like the sound of his music, but he's got some good words. But he seems like a really cool guy, really genuine guy. There's like it's a podcast my family sent in the chat. Actually, my brother-in-law sent it.
George Janko one.
Yeah, you saw that one?
Mm-hmm.
With the story at the end.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, the stuff's real. I mean,
like there's
a spiritual realm.
Is it like demon stuff?
No, it's not. 45 minutes of it isn't. But then like he gets into a story at the end where it's like he was legit. It was really really cool to see how God used him to possibly not possibly to change this guy's life in this way. And this guy was like in the whole Satan cult stuff, not Forrest Frank, but this guy that he basically witnessed to. But to answer your question, I have no idea. Like I personally, I'm not like the most I'm going to do in terms of demons is read what's in here, and that's it. I'm not messing with anything else. But
yeah, I understand there's a spiritual war going on around everybody. I get that, but I just want to leave that to the angels and demons, and I'm not in that realm. I know it's around me, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be in it.
And the reason why
I'm human.
The reason
I want to be in the human realm.
The reason why he wanted to go through that with the church is because him and the staff, they encountered that and they didn't know what to do. Yeah. And they were like, So we need to. I mean, if that's going to happen as believers, we got to know what to do. You know what I mean? Like there was. So the long story short, there was a woman, the friend of a friend, had sent. It was either dad or one of the pastors on staff a video of their daughter, and she was like, I mean, it was clear she was under the possession, I guess would be the word, of a dark spirit of something. Like it, I mean, it was literally. I mean, it gives me cold chills just thinking about it. It was like what you would see in a movie, like the voice, and like basically they were reaching out for help, and Dad was like, I've never encountered this. Like I don't know what to do. So that's why the staff went through this study together, and then they were like, I mean, maybe like not super in depth, but like people need to kind of know that this stuff is here. And like Daniel was saying, it's not as common here as it is in other parts of the world. But yeah, that's why they got on that, is because they encountered it for themselves, and they were like, I have no idea what to do in that situation.
No, that's a really lighthearted way to put it all up.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brock. Appreciate that.
I'm just gonna have bad dreams for the next 3 weeks.
That's right.
Dear Lord, please keep me safe.
Let me dream sweet things.
Well,
yeah, Brock, you kind of got everybody at a loss for words now.
You're not wrong, though. Spiritual warfare is out there, and we need to gird ourselves with the armor of God. So we'll leave it at that. Get in your Bibles, guys.
Come on. We'll do it again next week.
Love it.
Dude, I just remember, Daniel, I used to think you were just the lamest thing ever. Like you're just so G-rated to your core. And every day I get more and more G-rated. You know, I get that. Like, I don't think you're lame anymore. I don't know if it's being a dad or just growing in my own relationship, but it's funny. Like my thoughts on you. Not that like we were good friends, but like you were just such a dork, and I don't think that anymore. Or maybe I do, and I'm a dork with you. But
I think it's more that.
But it's funny. All right. Let's wrap it up. I want to tell you guys about my thing. So coming to you guys soon. Peace.